Hello, everybody, and welcome to OpenExO Live. It is really good to be with you. Morning for me, and perhaps evening for some folks who are watching in Asia and Australia. Today, we have Natalia with us. And before I was chatting with Natalia, I was like, I must ask her how to say her last name. And I forgot to do that. So I'm not going to butcher it before we bring Natalia up on stage. Natalia is a fairly new community member. Some of you may have seen Natalia on her masterclass on OKRs, where our community members had a lot of praise, enjoying the session, and especially how Natalia linked that to the ExO model. And so today we will be speaking a fair amount about OKRs, but also about Natalia's ExO journey and a bit about her. And so with that, I want to welcome Natalia to the screen. Natalia, how are you doing today? And how do I say your surname? Is it Gulchevskaya? You see, I knew I was going to get it wrong.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Gulchevskaya?
Yeah, my name is Natalia Gulchevskaya. Yeah, it's Ukrainian surname. Yeah, my father is from the Lvov. It's very glad to meet you this morning. And yeah, welcome to everyone for watching us from everywhere, every part of the world. Yeah, I'm really glad to be here, and thank you, Kevin, to inviting me to this broadcast.
Perfect. So for those people who don't know you, can you share a little bit, about yourself, and sort of how you came to join the OpenExO community?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, to be honest, I'm always excited to share topics I deeply passionate about, and it's my family tradition. Some fun fact about me that my mother was a professor, and I delivered my first lecture to her students when I was just 7 years old. Yeah, the lecture was about how to use technology teaching tools in primary education. It was the start of my educational career, and so I continue this all my life. Yeah, and also I always has been a fan of science fiction, and I dreaming of living in the world of the future and dream for a world that there are no wars, no borders, and when the human intelligence can collaborate with artificial intelligence, and humanity really can evolve a multiplanetary species. And this passion has driven me to choose a career path and interests to help move to this future for our world through the business. And to contribute this vision, I assist businesses to their growth. I help them to set up and achieve big ambitious goals, and at the same time develop a culture of respect, of transparency, of teamwork. And there are the transformative effects of OKR, objective and key result system, actually. And thanks to OKR, I learned about exponential organization. It was my start of the journey to exponential organization. It's some funny story. So when in 2018, I was tasked to conduct a 2-day strategic session for more than 120 team leaders from the large travel agency, multinational agency. And what I what I was in a charge to do, to help them to establish OKR for the teams. But at first, it required to identify the growth drivers and setting OKRs based on those growth drivers.
Mm.
And the organizers gave me and my partner the book of Salim Ismail, the first edition of Exponential Organization. And they suggested that the growth drivers should be identified in accordance with the principles and attributes states in this book. And
Okay.
this opened up an entirely new world for me. I found this book so inspiring, and I really shifted my perspective of view. Yeah, when I when I really met all of these things, and since then I am frequently incorporated the concept of exponential organization in my training for business leaders, for my strategic sessions, and then I discovered the ExO community. I
Mm.
started with the articles on the site, and soon enough, I joined the community, and I met here many very interesting and inspiring people. Yeah, and in present, my aspiration is to contribute to some ExO Spring team when I can
Mm.
share my OKR expertise and make some more significant impact. Yeah, it's about my.
Awesome. That's amazing. It's so interesting to always hear how people first heard about EXO, and generally it is an introduction by someone else, someone saying you should read this book, you should
Yes.
meet this person, which is always so interesting. So you mentioned how you incorporate EXO thinking into your coaching and training.
Yeah.
And so how would you say that you do that, given also that, I mean, as a coach and trainer, you also obviously use a number of other methods. I always say that EXO sort of works so well with so many other methods. It doesn't supersede them. It can just work with them. How would you say you actually use the EXO model in and that sort of thinking as you train and coach people?
Yeah, first of all, I use not just model, but mindset, exo thinking.
Mm.
Exponential thinking is, I think, the primary thing, and it's really a game changer. And as a coach, a trainer, I am not just teaching the concepts. I want to facilitate the transformative change within organizations that I train, or when I provide a team coaching or strategic sessions.
Mm.
And I through this I help them to adapt an exponential mindset. It's a first. And through the OKR framework that really very deeply aligns with the exponential ExO model and exponential thinking, I assist organization to identifying drivers of the exponential growth. And those drivers can be established by exploring the ExO model, and connected with one of these 11 attributes, and of course established with their massive transformative purpose, and then setting clear ambitious goals, how to drive those change,
Mm.
and establish a regular, transparent, and collaborative process to reach them. So it's how I implement this almost every day in my practice with working with my clients. Yeah.
Okay, yes, no, absolutely. And the often we, I mean, within the EXO model itself, we speak about OKRs, especially when we speak about the dashboards attribute. Now, we've over the years, as the after the book was written and we've worked with the EXO model, in the earlier days we often would say, if you're implementing at least 4 attributes and an MTP, you can be exponential. And that's maybe shifting now, where we're saying you actually almost need to be implementing everything. But dashboards and knowing where your organization is almost a non-negotiable, right? You can't really have an exponential organization if you're not tracking what you're doing, because then you're just potentially fumbling around in the dark. So why would you say that OKRs are really vital for a successful EXO?
Yeah, exactly. Dashboards is really important to any organization, even for usual organization. Uh, but OKR is not just a dashboard. Yeah, let me just remind for all the for all people what OKR is. So OKR, maybe not everyone familiar with this conception, that OKR stands for objectives and key results. And OKR is not only how we formulate goals, it's a very small part of this. OKR is a strategy execution framework, first of all, that empower organization and team and every employee with agility, that means flexibility, adaptability, focus and alignment to drive progress towards very ambitious, very aspirational goals, like formulated in objective and key results format. And it's also very important that it's a system and it's a continuous discipline and some communication culture that really encourages employees to be actively involved in setting goals, measuring progress, celebrating success, and learning from the challenges, providing retrospective. Actually, OKR is so I am a coach, and in coaching we have some crucial questions, and those questions are the core of OKR. So OKR is really some coaching for whole entire organization. So it's not just about dashboard. It's much broader than that. As you mentioned, I shared in details with the ExO community how OKR as a system, as a framework, provides the implementation of all internal exponential organization attributes, and the recording is available for all community members. So if you haven't joined us yet, maybe it's a great reason to join and just watch these records. And so OKR is necessary to if I can continue about why is it vital to answer the question. So now I answered the question that OKR is not just dashboard, but why OKR is vital for exponential organization. First of all, because it's necessary to manage strategic change toward your massive transformative purpose and keep this massive transformative purpose alive. Because every quarter in a planning session, you revisit your strategy and your MTP to revise, set up new OKR for next quarter. So every quarter, or maybe a shorter period. Some companies set up the OKR for 2 months, some of them for 4 months. So it's a flexible period. But every period, every team member recall your purpose, your strategy, and it keeps it alive.
Yes.
Second, OKR encourage companies to focus their effort to a few key areas that will have a biggest impact potential, and align all teams with this focus, ensuring that everyone is moving in the same direction. And this is essential for exponential organization, because there are a lot of opportunities, but you have to focus on the crucial some. The third, returning to dashboards. OKR create a culture of transparency when everyone's objective and key results are visible and your progress are visible. And this allows teams to understand how their work contribute to the overall success of the organization, how you contribute, and it's create some social technology. Yes, that okay, I couldn't fail my goals because everyone, yes, it is, and it's fostering a sense of ownership
Yes.
and purpose, and this is important for the exponential culture. And finally, the implementation of OKR provides agility, and it's allow to very, very fast change your course, correct your course, and rapidly adapt for very fast changing environment. And this characteristic is also vital for survival of exponential organization.
Mm.
So there are a lot of things, and OKR, yeah, OKR is about not only about dashboards. It consists with dashboards, but much, much wider, much bigger.
No, absolutely, 100%. I mean, as you were saying there, I mean, as you were speaking, in my mind, I was thinking, yeah, there's essentially autonomy is almost impossible without a system like OKRs, right? Because it, as you said, it gives that transparency, and that's the thing with a lot of the EXO attributes is that they are quite interconnected, right? And as you've said, a tool like OKRs helps with those connections, right? To allow the organization to actually succeed. And what I do find though, when you start talking about OKRs, the first thing people say is, oh, we're going to need some sort of software. They always go to the technology first, right? Now, I always say it's not about the technology necessarily. The technology is just there to help. So in terms of starting, where do you actually start when it comes to OKRs?
Yeah, I definitely agree with you that the technology is really important, but it's not a key. Indeed, there are a common misconception that just by finding the right software, you can easily set and achieve your goals. Big goals, aspirational goals, not. However, it's very far from the truth. Yeah, and while software can be very useful for the large organization with some complex structures, yeah, truly primary for the OKR framework is the OKR itself. Yeah, when you properly set it up and regularly maintained, and think of this like morning exercise. The effects only shown if you do it consistently. Yeah, ongoing, yeah, continuously, and therefore having a dedicated team of internal OKR coaches, at least one, but it's better that it's a team within the company, is much more important than the software. Yeah, it's agile principle, agile manifesto: people first, technology second.
Yeah.
And I usually recommend starting with some evolution approach. So start with a small team. Usually it's a pilot team from a leadership team. So when we set up a company level OKRs first and live with them, and then roll out this approach down. Sometimes, for example, my recent client, they are not rolling out OKR for the entire organization. They choose one transformative team, and we start with this transformative team. And then simple spreadsheet, Excel, Google spreadsheet might be enough for this small team. And after going a few cycles of manual tracking, you can understand how the system adapts to your specific needs and what kind of software requirement do you need. And there are a dozen of applications on the market for managing OKRs. I won't name any specifically during this broadcast to avoid overlooking others. Yeah, but a simple Google search will give you plenty of options. And when you are ready to explore them, I suggest my suggestion is discuss with the software providers your actual needs based on your lived experience with a spreadsheet, not with your dreams, but with your real experience, and you have to have this real experience first. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So if you could pretty much give like the first three steps or the first three tips of implementing OKRs, if that's the only thing that a person listens to in terms of this, what would those be?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Exactly what I recently said. The first step is a pilot team education. So you can choose some pilot team. Usually it's a leadership team. Sometimes it's some transformational team. The team really involved in strategic changes and initiate the process of OKR education on this team. And it should be a practical learning experience involving the setting up the real OKRs. So not just a theory, but real strategic session. It's a first step. So set up the real OKRs. The second step, assign the internal OKR coach. It could be some team member, part of this team, or some other dedicated person. And the coach will hold the OKR process, conducting weekly check-ins for monitor progress and leading a retrospective at the end of the cycle. And without this role, you usually companies fail this first moment, because it should be one responsible person who keep all the process. And the third step, complete one cycle, at least one cycle, before you start rolling out OKR for other teams. And ensure that you complete this cycle and you really get the results you wanted. So until you really understand the system inside this team and you really get the business results, the business impact of implementing OKR, don't rush to roll out. It's maybe my suggestion for three first steps to implementing OKRs.
Perfect. We do have a quick question from Daria here on LinkedIn, who's just saying, "Great info. How do you make sure there's consistency in discussing the team's OKRs across the entire organization?"
Wow, Daria, thank you very much for this question, because it's very important and crucial for OKRs, not just setting goals for your team. And just remind that OKR is a not top-down mandates. So goals set it up by teams themselves, and we're also fostering vertical and horizontal coordination. So inside the session, we facilitate the conversation. So OKR is about conversation. It's any agile framework about communication, about conversation between team members when they brainstorm all ideas, then discuss them, take some criteria and align, prioritize all ideas with these criteria and choose the most crucial of them, and then set up OKRs on these ideas. And after they set up collaboratively set up OKRs for their team, already connected with the higher OKRs from company level, for example, or previous level, we start a process of horizontal alignment. when we gather interconnected teams and they discuss between the teams if their OKR are really aligned with each other. And this process, if we properly provide this process, make us sure that all companies aligned and that all set of goals are consistent. Of course, sometimes, we met some discommunication, but it's normal, it's life, and we try to to revitalize the great communication and transparency. It's also the great tool because everyone can see OKRs from every team.
Yeah.
And you can check.
Absolutely. Natalia, the time has come to an end. I always end off, though, OpenExO Live by asking the question, if there's one thing you want to share with people, if there was only one thing you could share with people as we end the call today, what is that one thing that you would like to share?
Yeah, with pleasure. I want to share a simple OKR formula that not just for organization, but also can be applied in your daily life. So this formula consists of 3 consequent questions. The first question is, what long-term goals I want to achieve? That really inspired me. Or maybe what is my massive transformative purpose in terms of exponential organization. The second question, what immediate change should I focus on the next few months to help me reach these long-term goals? And the third question, how I can measure my success. It's an OKR formula. And remember to ask yourself this question periodically, and you will be amazed on how they can enhance the quality of your life. Because through these questions, you should be always connected with your long-term goals, with your personal strategy, and your massive transformative purpose.
Amazing. Natalia, thank you so much for joining us today. It's been wonderful chatting to you, and look forward to connecting again in the community.
Yeah, thank you.
Awesome. Bye-bye. So amazing chatting with Natalia today. OKRs really are so important. They're easy, but they're hard. And they take work. That's the one thing. As Natalia said, within your organization, having someone who is responsible for it is extremely important so that you are actually following through. And so with that, I want to say a big thank you to everyone for watching. We'll see you all again next week.